Welcome everybody to another CCNP Seth video. Alright, today we are going to talk about access control lists, and I'm going to demonstrate this on a Cisco router. If you are studying for Security Plus and are worried about maybe some simulations and you've never seen an access list configured before, well, have no fear, I will go over it with you. The syntax for access control lists differ from vendor to vendor, so again, in this video, this is strictly for Cisco routers, but all ACLs have the same, not syntax, but the same feel and properties of it. So I'll configure these access control lists, and then I'll tell you which one and what everything means in it. All right, so here's our topology. We have a host here, a Windows XP machine connecting to a router. This is the subnet space or the network space. Here is a server that we will hit a web page with, and then we have two other hosts, and I will demonstrate Telnet and SSH with it. And for this XP machine, I will demonstrate how to block web traffic. So here I have the commands I'm going to be putting in, and let's get to it. So basically, this host is going to hit this web server, and I'll show you that it's going to work. And then I will put this access control list, I will set it up, and then you will notice that it will be blocked. And same thing with these two devices. I will block Telnet and permit SSH based on these configurations. And I'll explain this 0.0.0.255. Actually, let me just tell you right now. If you're not used to this wildcard mask, that is what routers use. It's like the opposite of a subnet mask. But when you see 0.0.0.255, think of that as a /24. Okay? And yeah, so that's it. So let me get into R1 and let's configure this first access list. Actually, I'm sorry. Before I do that, let me show you that I could actually hit a web page on this server. So let me bring up my XP machine, and let's bring up Firefox. So the web page for this server is that .100 right there. So put that in our web page, and bam, I'm hitting the web page for this router that this server is disguised as a router, or this router is disguised as a server. Anyways, you know what I mean. So we actually hit it. All right, sweet. So let's put an access control list and block this guy. So let's go into R1. Actually, let's clear that off. And let's put in this access list. So I'm in a router, and I have to go into global configuration mode, and I will put this syntax in right there, this access list. So access list 100. We will deny TCP host 192.168.1.150, and it is destined to anywhere equaling port 80. Enter. Now remember, on an access list, there is always an implicit deny at the end, meaning I'm blocking everything else. So with every access list, there has to be at least one permit statement. So let's do that. IP access list 100, permit, IP, any. Enter. All right. In this syntax, I probably should have put IP in there, meaning the protocol IP. Let everything else through. So in here, I'm specifically denying port 80 traffic for this host right here coming from this address. And you could think of this host word as a /32 because I want to deny him specifically. So if you're studying for Security Plus and trying to configure an access list, if I want to deny someone specifically, I will use a /32. but in the syntax of the Cisco router, I could simply use the word host. It means the same thing. All right, so let's erase that. Actually, let's erase everything. All right, so now let's go back to our XP machine, and let's open up Firefox again. Open up. Oh my gosh, are you serious? Come on, Firefox. And look at that. It's trying to connect, but it can't. Why? Because I just put that access on there denying this guy. And let's also verify his IP address real quick. IP config, that's him. And let's try to ping that router, or that server there. We could ping it, but we can't access HTTP to it. So that is the demonstration of that. So now let's configure the second access list to deny Telnet traffic and permit SSH traffic. So let's first show you that I could Telnet into it and exit. All right. So let me show you that I could actually Telnet into this guy. Telnet 192.168.200.1. Bam. And I am in. So now I just telnetted into R1 right here. So that's not good because we don't ever want to use telnet because it is, what is it? Sent in plain text. It's unsecure. So we won't do that. And we can do a quick telnet into it with R3. Same thing. Telnet 192.168.200.1. And that shows that I at least have access to it. So let's exit. Come on. Oh my gosh. We'll just let that be. All right, close out. So let's go back into R1 and let's configure this access list right here. So access list 101 deny TCP traffic of 192.168.200.0 wildcard mask of 255 destined anywhere equaling port 23. All right. So again, since we did a deny, we have to always have a permit statement because there's an implicit deny all at the bottom of it. 8.200.0, 0.0.0, 255, destined anywhere, equaling 22. Oh my gosh. Equal. Alright. Exit. So now I just applied it. I applied these two configs, and I am trying to deny telnet specifically and only enable SSH. So let's go into R2, and let's try that connection again. Telnet. Destination unreachable. Look at that. It didn't allow it. But will it allow SSH? CCNP Seth. And the IP address 192.168.200.1. Bam, look at that. Password. I don't think I set a password. Cisco. Oh, there you go. That is right. And I'm in. I SSH'd in. So there you go. So that shows that this access list worked. So in a Cisco router, the syntax is access list, then you give it a number you want to either permit or deny, and then you specify the protocol. And this first portion right here is the source address. And then after you put in the source address, you say where is it destined to, and if you want to deny a specific or deny or permit a specific port, you will say equals that. So you have to know what these port numbers are. Port 80 is what? HTTP. What is port 23? That is Telnet. And what is port 22? That's SSH. Very good. All right, so that is it. I hope you guys kind of get a better understanding of what access control lists are and what they do. So I hope this was informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.